Welcome to the Beauty Witch November. We are deep in the mysticism of Scorpio season, which is always intense. It's always deep. There's always this incredible potential for sexiness. But when you conjure the image of November in your mind's eye, tell me, what does it look like to you? Because I feel like for a lot of us, it's not dissimilar to what happens in February, but we'll get to that next year. We don't want to talk about February right now. It's kind of this pause between this bejeweled autumnal color and beauty that we get very carried away by, and this barren trees, all the color turning to gray. And I feel like for a lot of people that almost feels a bit threatening. It's kind of like a deep chill that settles in, and a colder mist rising up from the ground that you're standing on. It's like kind of that nothingness that precedes the magic of the glittering white snowfall. But we're not there yet. We're kind of in this gray. We're between this ruby and amber and this crystalline white, and it's just gray. And yes, I get that. I get where that can come in, but the way I like to view it is as a bit of a pause. It's an intense, deep Scorpion going internal. It's kind of like you've wrapped yourself up in this beautiful velvet cloak that's been very carefully selected by the cosmos. Don't forget that part. And it embraces and it shelters us from the cold, but it's all the way up to the eyes. So all the onlooker can really see is that intense stare. It's like this. And what is that really? That's our sight. I think it's really, really important to appreciate that for what it is, and don't forget that cloak is very, very chic. It's very gorgeous. It does keep us from being very cold. And it's kind of a great, it's a great cloak. That's what it is. It's a cloak. So what are you going to do underneath the layers there? What work are you going to do? That's the beauty of November. And it's no coincidence. I mean, it never would be, that as the wheel of the year turns from fall to winter, we find ourselves squarely in the middle of a transition. And it's true, each season hosts such a shift, but none that feels quite as extreme as right now, because we're coming in with these Samhain vibes barely dissipated, the old year going away, the new year not quite there yet, really. And this metamorphosis of death into the beginnings of a rebirth. It's no wonder that Plutonic energies coincide, because these are indeed the dark months starting to take shape and settling in to show us the path to our insides, But the thing is, you have to remember, we take along a lantern that keeps us illuminated while we're in this metaphoric cave. But I don't want you to fear or dread these things. This going inward is not only beneficial, but it's necessary, because without it, there can be no new growth. The rebirth first requires the death, and so we arrive here in the high tide of Scorpio season, which promises great secrets revealed to those that are willing to take the plunge. Have no fear. Now, this month we arrive still riding the wave of the lunar eclipse in Taurus that we just experienced at the end of October. And I'm willing to bet that the dust from both eclipses last month is just beginning to settle, just starting to take shape, yes? What has been revealed, what has to be let go of, what needs to be embraced, that's all starting to become clear. And I'm sure it was a little bit bumpy, but really, really necessary. This brings us to the Scorpio power card, which is probably not surprisingly death. Now that is not a scary, you're going to die card when that comes up. What that is transition, transformation, rebirth. Something has to die for new to appear. It's just the balance of the cosmos. It's just how it is. This has a lot to do with digging deeply underneath to uncover what's hidden. And that's part of Scorpio energy, is getting beneath the surface. Scorpio hates superficiality. So remember that. So you want to look beyond what lies ahead, beyond the ending, to see what actually remains. And you have to face your fear of transformation. It's scary when you don't know what's on the other side, but it's going to happen. So you may as well see it as growth, because that's what it is, really. Now, this is from the Crowley deck, and I think that's fairly appropriate for this time of year. I like this deck. This brings us right off the bat this month. Our taskmaster Saturn goes direct in Pisces. What does this mean? Well, it means all the dreaminess we had all summer long. Remember that with our rose-colored glasses? Now it becomes practical. But you know what? You're also going to get some of your energy back. And that's a really, really nice thing. I know I hate practicality too, but you know, we had all of this, this dreamy creation energy, this romantic, gauzy energy. And now, how are we going to channel it? Where's it going to go? How are we going to use it? That's the only way I can really think of practicality in a way that doesn't make me itchy. Now, all of this is going to bring us on the 13th of November to our super steamy new moon in, of course, Scorpio. How much do you love Scorpio energy? I know this is not a popular opinion, but I love it. I can't think of anything more erotic, honestly. Our new moon comes in at 4:27 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time. So this is important to know because she goes void, of course, at 6:03 p.m. and then goes into Sag, 9:23 p.m. So you've got that Scorpion energy just for that window. You want to work with it. Do something really sexy with it. For me, please, for me. Now, there's a lot of intimacy with this new moon. There's an emphasis here on creating bonds, but you know, they have to have depth and they have to have intensity. Again, no superficiality. It won't be tolerated. This has to be like, yeah. Nothing that in any way feels like a waste of time or energy. This is about and only about meaningful connections and bringing them into the future. There's actually a really long-term energy with this. You can't be afraid of that because there's some karma involved. That's all I'm going to say. And this is also a super potent new moon. That transformation vibe is very high. It's also kind of blunt in its energy. As I was saying before, it's almost a bit confrontational. So your relationships, your business, your resources, this is about protecting your interests, right? Because there's a bit of a protection energy here, but it's also restorative in its own way. And the desire to achieve, that's pretty strong too. There's quite a lot of ambition here. I know it wouldn't seem that way, but there is. Oh, and we have some steamy romantic vibes too, in a nice alignment with that Venus in Libra. Yeah, you might wanna pick up on that a little bit. And you know what I say, wherever Venus decides that she's going to do her lounging, it is perfect for a potion. Now, this one for this moon is originally from the pages of Enchanted Living magazine, and I have specifically concocted a madly simple facial mask to tickle your fancy for all things autumn, because we're still in autumn. Let's just go with that. So we're using some coconut nectar, which is interesting because it's a very potent nectar that will leave you glowing. And although it's the elixir of a tropical fruit and it doesn't seem like it would work with fall energy, it actually does work beautifully because it's got this mineral-rich, low glycemic nature. So it's literally feeding us vital nutrients, sparing that beauty sapping that refined sugar will do. It's also adding a dash of potent spiritual and psychic magic. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nouvelle, my potion. One more note on this potion, it does include carrot seed oil, which we think of as a spring ingredient. And indeed, it's a great one. It's very lusty. But it actually works beautifully for this time of year, and it is also ruled by Scorpio. It's got the regenerative powers of beauty that are so well aligned with now. So get on. And November 22nd ushers in Sagittarius season. Sagittarius season, it's fabulous. This means two things. The first is that it's Keith Richards' birthday coming up. That's really the most important thing that anyone needs to know about Sag season. So let's get that out of the way. And let's think about ways we can celebrate Keith's birthday. The second is that Sag energizes us. So it's this potent physical fire sign. So think about the archer now bringing outward what we were warmly, steamily conjuring internally during Scorpio season. Now the arrow's focused. We're making plans. You want to hone right in on that target and shoot. Adventures, expanding horizons. It's really time to unleash creativity, and only interesting things need apply. It's also a great time to get your body moving. Cold be damned. I don't want to hear about the cold weather. Get moving. And if you need inspiration, just think of Keith. Which brings us, as we go through the month, to our full snow moon in Gemini on the 27th. Now, it also seems a bit early for snow, but this is the snow moon. It will occur at 4:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, in the great tradition of working magics the night before, when the moon is at her most potent, the eve of the 26th, work your energies a bit earlier. This is very much a lunar energy of transformation, taking root, and preparing. You know, it's going to give you the energy that you need to get through the seasonal madness and to keep your spirits up. And when you're feeling kind of low, tap into that Gemini energy, because it's very much like champagne fizz. It's very much like if you could just picture yourself splashing into a coupe filled with champagne. That's the energy, and that's the energy you really want to conjure this season. You know, no matter what you celebrate, I mean, there's going to be people around you that are celebrating everything. And don't you miss everyone? Don't you want to see everyone? Don't you want to get out and about? I do. So tap into that Gemini energy. I do want to tell you one thing I would like you to be careful with this moon. I would like it if you could watch your words and be on the lookout for some exaggerations and even falsehoods coming from others. People are going to be talking big and kind of boastful and maybe not meaning to be full of crap, but they kind of are. So just be aware of that. Be aware of people sort of being blowhards. That's the only way I can put it nicely, really. Also, go easy on your large purchases, especially around holiday gifts, because it's just an odd time. You could find yourself kind of going overboard in a way that you're going to regret later. Now, potion for this moon is a warm brew, but I will also tell you that you can use it. You can add some protein to it and make a really gorgeous smoothie elixir that you can tote around during the day and will give you some nice energy. It's called Snow Moon Magic. And again, we're working with some lunar coconut and some other beautiful, beautiful ingredients and things to keep you toasty warm and your skin gorgeous during this time when you really do want to look your best. You want to show up at all of these parties, not harried and not crazy, but glowing and dewy and soft and fabulous. So try this. And so there we have November. It doesn't seem quite as packed as the last bunch of months has been. No, it seems a little bit more, I don't want to say placid, that's the wrong word, but it seems a little bit calmer, a little bit less 900 different cosmic activities going on. That also has a lot to do with the eclipses passing us and just giving us a moment to kind of relax, honestly, and get the messages and deal with whatever messages those eclipses brought to us. I know I'm personally kind of saying, whoa, okay, necessary, not necessarily sweet, but necessary, and giving you a little bit of that lull to just get ready to make your next move, that going internal, getting ready to bring it outward. It's that little bit of a cosmic pause to allow maybe your body a little bit of rest before we go into Sag season, but also your brain to kind of process what's happening, what has come up, what the eclipses have sort of kicked up and shone their light on, and kind of strategize a bit in your brain, because then we're going to go into Capricorn season at some point, and that is going to be all about planning the year ahead. So use the internal time. When that's done, get out there physically and sparkly and do your thing, and then prepare, because the quiet resting season doesn't really happen yet. And even when it happens, it's watched over by Capricorn, which ensures that we're not really resting, we're really plotting. So stay beautiful, stay warm, stay toasty, stay sexy. Hibernate a little bit with your naked friends or friend in particular. And enjoy November, my loves. I'll see you soon.